Your understanding of energy is all wrong. You might be thinking that energy is your body's energy. When you feel energized, it's because you've got enough calories or ATP, whatever you might be thinking. But the thing is, your energy is actually your neural energy. And neural energy is much more powerful than your body's energy. And neural energy is two molecules. It's testosterone and dopamine. Now, of course, I'm simplifying things over here, and I'm only going to talk about these two molecules because it's going to be much easier for you to actually increase your energy if you only focus on these two molecules. So testosterone and dopamine. Now, funny enough, there's a correlation between testosterone and dopamine. Whenever you increase your testosterone, you will increase your dopamine, even if you don't want to. And whenever you're going to be increasing your dopamine baseline, you will also be increasing your testosterone baseline. So, how do you increase your testosterone? Now, you probably know about a bunch of things on how to increase your testosterone. You probably know about, like, you gotta eat good, you gotta sleep 8 hours plus, you gotta be exercising, you gotta be reducing your stress. So since you already know about the basics, I'm not going to cover testosterone too much. But the thing is, you need to understand that to become a high energy person, you must become a high testosterone person. Because you see, if you are a high testosterone person, you never experience low energy. So that's an easy way to fix it. But also, you got to be caring about your dopamine. Now, you've heard about dopamine already, but you might not understand how to increase your baseline and how to avoid, these dips in dopamine. Now, dopamine is a bit more complex than testosterone because let's say you're scrolling on your phone. At the moment, you'll be increasing your dopamine in a way, but once you stop, you will experience a dramatic decrease that goes below your baseline, and you're gonna stay below your baseline for quite a while, especially if you just scrolled for like an hour and more. And when you're below baseline, it's when you feel bad about yourself. You've scrolled on your phone for 2 hours, you feel bad about yourself. You took a few drugs and now you're on the come down, you feel bad about yourself. That's you going below baseline. But the thing is, with every up in dopamine will come a long-lasting low in dopamine. But the opposite is true. For every short, quick, intense pain, so a short down in dopamine, you will experience a long-lasting increase in your dopamine baseline. And when you're experiencing an increase in your dopamine baseline, that's basically you being more energized. Now, I've got a few habits or things you can do to experience a long-lasting increase in dopamine. The first one, which is basically the easiest one and the one that takes the least amount of time, is a cold shower. Now, you might not want to do a cold exposure because you're scared that it's going to be painful and not comfortable. Well, it's basically the goal, because if you experience quick, intense pain, like a cold shower, for 4 to 6 hours, as study shows on cold exposure, you will experience a dramatic increase in your baseline dopamine, making you more motivated and making you more energized for like the 4-6 hours that are coming. But also there are other things that you're probably already doing, like going to the gym. Sometimes after, like, let's say you're training back, after a little back day, you feel more energized than before, which is kind of weird because when you consume calories, well, you consume body energy, but you were rewarded with neural energy because you experienced quick, intense pain for long-lasting dopamine increase. So these are 2 hacks to increase your dopamine. But more important than trying to increase your dopamine is really trying to avoid decreasing your dopamine. Now, the best thing you could do is go on a what people call a dopamine detox, where you're less on your phone, you put a app blocker, stuff like that, or you delete a bunch of apps, you delete your social media accounts, and you really try to like stay away from everything that gives you short dopamine, watching TV and stuff like that. But that can be extreme. So what I recommend is, if you got this one habit of yours, if you scroll, if you got Instagram and you be scrolling on Reels, you can honestly, like, even if it's not like deleting Instagram, you could honestly like install a app blocker that only blocks short form content, that only blocks your reels. And that would be a great first step at increasing your dopamine baseline, or at least avoiding decreasing it, and therefore becoming a high energy person. So increase testosterone, which you probably already know how to do it, you just are maybe lacking motivation. Well, good enough, you increase your dopamine, the motivation molecule, by avoiding scrolling on reels, scrolling on whatever you're doing, by avoiding, like if you're taking any type of drug, you already know it's bad for you. And also by using tricks like getting into a cold shower or working out. Now, after all of this, after you've increased your testosterone and you're being careful with your dopamine, you might still experience like these occasional dips in energy. But if you associate yourself, if you identify yourself as someone with high testosterone that has a great control over their dopamine, if you remind yourself of the correlation between testosterone, dopamine, and high energy, in a way, and this is going to be hard to explain, but in a way, you can identify as someone with high energy. And whenever you remind yourself that you're someone with high energy, funny enough, how neural energy works, you instantly become more energized. So if you want a very quick, easy way to become more energized right now, you start to identify yourself as someone with high testosterone, as someone with a high dopamine baseline, as someone who is always energized and motivated. Even if it's not true, if you truly start to believe it, because it is neural energy, and I'm not too sure how it works, it's actually gonna happen. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah!